Happy holiday, Melania.
Which holiday?
Well, it's let me see. It's Constitution Day in Ukraine. First
Ah,
of
okay,
all,
that's a good holiday. Yes,
congratulations. Yeah,
thank you.
it's also Drive Your Corvette to Work Day, National Logistics Day, and also some weird holiday in Russia, which is unexplainable and doesn't have a name yet. But celebration, they're really good. Recently, there was a terrorist attack in Dagestan. Some allegedly ISIS fighters managed to kill 15 Russian policemen. And there's some weird holiday in Russia, which doesn't have a name yet, but is really, really fun. In Dagestan, recently, there was a terrorist attack by allegedly ISIS, which killed 15 Russian policemen and also five ISIS attackers. They managed to occupy a Russian Orthodox church and also set on fire a synagogue.
Бля! Где они? Ай, бля, сука, в руку попало. Что там? Осколок, братан. Ребята, идем.
A part of that, there were Russian air defense blowing up all over Crimea and also Russian armor storage blowing up in Belgorod Oblast, which is north of Ukraine. What do you think? How should we call this holiday?
I don't know. Best day ever, all day, every day. The problem is that nobody cares, which I think is a bad thing. Everybody should care. There should be more information about this because this kind of blew over and nobody paid attention. And then the only thing that I think actually got more attention that should have is the position of Russian MPs who decided to do their own investigation and explain to both their internal audience and outside audience um, what actually happened. So, Mark, would you like to guess who's behind the terror attack in
Zionists.
Dagestan? You
Not this
are
time.
no, not this time. Every other time,
Okay.
sure, but not this time. How about any other options?
Americans?
Mark, you've been on this channel
Mexicans?
for more than a year now. Sure, yes, Mexicans. No, it's the omnipresent Ukrainians. So, Russian MP Abdul Hadim Hadjiyev, who's an expert on the fact, went on Russian state TV the other day and said that uh, intelligence services of Ukraine, HUR, and NATO countries may have orchestrated the attacks. He provided obviously no direct evidence to back up that claim. And then there is this very famous pro Kremlin, very old news site called Komsomolskaya Pravda. And they reported on these events and they accused the so called collective West in trying to open the second front against Russia. You know what's the most stupid thing about these claims? I'm not even saying about the fact that, we don't do this kind of stuff. Like, I really doubt that Ukrainian Secret Service do anything like this. You know what's the stupidest thing about this take?
Uh, it's hard to choose, actually. Yes. Go ahead.
No, it's a competition where you can't lose. But the main stupidity is that we have spoken about this on this channel before. Dagestan and other Muslim republics of the Russian Federation have been very aggressive, and these things have been happening for the longest time. There is a good and long history of intercultural, interreligious, multi, kind of societal problems in these exact regions. We've spoken about the marriages, the arranged marriages, forced marriages of young women in these countries. So the thing is that nothing new has happened. Unfortunately, Russia is a very versatile and a country full of, it's a multicultural country
In a
where
bad
there is
way.
no order, no democracy, no human rights whatsoever. And this kind of makes it so that people radicalize and do all sorts of crazy stuff. So, no, I highly doubt that the West is using their precious resources in something so unobvious as the Dagestan. Because if you make a secret covert operation like this, if this is an orchestrated terror attack aimed at kind of breaking up Russian society, you wouldn't do it in a place in Russia where these things are as common as, I don't know, rain falling from the sky. Like,
Yeah,
these things
also,
happen all the time.
yeah, you should consider if you were CIA operative or even Ukrainian secret services operative. I mean, like attacking synagogue, not the most controversial thing to do in Russia, right? Not gonna break Russia apart, right? I'm not I'm not an expert in terrorist attacks. I'm not sure this is the best thing they can do, but um, yeah. Well, from the other hand, everyone says that Russia is that healthy, big, I don't know, white, clean country with clean metro station without homeless people in it, and with bread in supermarkets. You know that one guy, Tucker Carlson.
That. Oh, come on.
Horrible piece. But yeah, you went to Russia and advertised Russia as this stable, beautiful empire, the one fascist empire which everyone adores, and stable and safe, and all lie. I mean, like, just in several days, Russian beach was hit with a rocket. With Russian air defense, Russian air defense were blown up in Crimea, and Russia had this massive massive attacks in Belgrade. It's a war. The country is in war. Russian people are not feeling great in it, and also the empire starting falling apart because the separatist region are using this vacuum of power, which is getting high because Russia spends all of it resources on Ukraine, on killing Ukrainians for no reason whatsoever. So yeah, there is no such thing as stable empire and safe and prosperous and good and fun and clean and white. That's all a lie, which Russia pays a lot of money for. Maybe even to people like Tucker Carlson, we don't know, but to a lot of their own propagandists to say this lie and to fool some people who haven't ever lived in such regimes.
Another interesting fact I would like to point out, especially given the fact that Russia is trying to sell this kind of event as just something Western covert operation against Russia, opening a second front, is that if you look into the attackers' identities and into their stories, it kind of is sort of really obvious that this would happen someday. Even their own families, and we're going to get to this in a minute, admit that these things have been in the air for quite a while. So, for instance, two of the attackers who were liquidated after the operation against the attack started were both sons of a 64-year-old secretary of a Dagestani department of the Единая Россия party, Putin's party. And so, moreover, this guy is the head of the entire region of Dagestan, like a small governor. His name is Mohammed Amarov. So his son Adil and Osman were one of the people who attacked the synagogues and the church, and he himself admitted the fact that uh, this sons his sons were radical for quite a while. So the family knew about this. The family did not support this. The father didn't speak to his sons for last couple of years, and he knew that these sons were members of a group that was concerned with radicalizing Islam, that they were talking about ethnic cleansings, about all that stuff. So moreover, another guy who was killed in action in that situation, he was actually he wanted to be a politician. He took part in elections, and he was ahead of a regional department of another famous Russian party called Справедливая Россия, Fair Russia, which is an oxymoron. And he was posthumously expelled from the party. So, in order to be expelled from a party in Russia, you have to kill a bunch of people and attack a bunch of religious sites, and only then people are like, maybe he shouldn't represent us in the regional bodies of government. I don't know. So yeah, these people are the other guys were all sorts of guys. The other guys were just these blue collar workers. Some of them worked in these companies that had to do with gas division in the region. So the usual stuff where people from all lines of work and all kind of places in life come together united by a shitty idea and do a shitty thing. But just to I want to kind of hit this point as hard as possible. There is no such thing as like well, we have these politicians who make the country of Russia beautiful and functioning so Tucker Carlson could sniff bread in a supermarket, like he likes to do. And then there are some bad people who are like marginalized and who nobody supports. These people were actually influential. These people actually meant something in their communities. And then these people came over there and shot a bunch of people, and then they were killed themselves. This is the true face of Russia. And this is what we are keeping on trying to explain on this channel, trying to send the vibes into the space, hoping that someday somebody will see it. So this is why you should share this video, you should like it, you should leave a comment, and you should send it to all your friends who speak English and who want to learn more truth about Ukraine, obviously, but also Russia, because who are better experts on Russia than Ukrainians? I don't believe that there are any. So yeah,
There aren't, but there is. There are experts who who is considered by some Western media as experts in Russia because they have their Russian names in Latin words on Twitter and blue checkmark, whatever. People like Leonid Rogozin, who was a journalist, and I don't know what he does now. Apparently works for Russia. I don't know, but he's still considered an expert. And he considered a respectable expert or some sort of it. And so what's his take? It's really weird because when you listen to some Russian MP or something like that, you expect some absolute crazy bullshit. This guy, no, he's not like that. He says, head of Dagestan, Sidi Milkov, said 15 policemen died in an attack staged by militias in Drebin, blah, blah, blah. And then he said with the next tweet, he's taken it. Anti-Semitic pogroms in Dagestan last October were inspired by Telegram channels run by Ukraine-based Dagestani fugitives who didn't bother to hide their identity. It remains to be seen where the latest attack can be traced to HUR, Ukrainian Secret Service, partisan network in Russia.
Yeah, everything is HUR. Everything is done by HUR. If a little lizard dies somewhere in a desert in Mongolia, it's HUR. If a little lizard bites somebody in the ass, like Leonid Rogozin, it's HUR. I don't know why I chose little lizard. It's just very stupid. Like how Leonid Rogozin, out of all people, should know. Out of all people, being an expert, out of all people, should know the thing I already said today on this podcast. Uh, this is not new. These things have been happening in Russia forever. There have been wars in Russia because of these things, because this is a multicultural nation that likes to exploit, by the way, these weaknesses and these radicalized groups. And by the way, it's Russian secret services who are known for using all sorts of radicalized groups against each other to kind of brood this atmosphere of hate and unease and instability to manipulate the Russian society. So no, it's not HUR. HUR actually has more, better and more important work to do. They actually kill Russian military personnel who attack Ukrainians on Ukrainian soil, rather going and working their asses off to make sure that some radicalized teens in Dagestan kill each other and some other people.
But they set the synagogue on fire. That was because they're Nazis, apparently.
Oh, right, because Azov. Yeah, sure.
You should think about it twice.
Think about it.
From one point, you could set Russian Russian military storage on fire, right? On the other hand, you could set on fire a synagogue, which is cool. I don't know what to choose. As a Ukrainian, I personally
Yeah, I
have
don't know what would you choose, Mark
no preference.
Kaplan?
Yeah, absolutely.
What would you choose, huh?
Yeah, I hope it's not gonna be clipped and shown to Israel embassy or whatever.
Yeah, but you're allowed to say that. I'm not allowed to say that.
Yeah, but anyways, tell us what else who could do in Russia apart from terrorist acts by ISIS.
And killing a
Um,
little lizard.
yeah, and killing little lizard. What are the options? What are the
Yeah.
weird things? Maybe they could build the biggest statue of made of shit, the big
No,
cross
that
made
is
of shit.
that is already done by Russian artists. This is already taken.
But you don't know
Russians
if
are
it was
building.
who or not, right? Because it could be.
Let's ask Leonid Rogozin. He's an expert in shit. Anyway,
Yeah.
on this
Subscribe.
note, like this video, share it. This is your daily, weekly look into what's up in Russia.
How's
your
it going?
true
Yeah.
How's it going? Yeah, just in case you forgot. See you next week.
See you
Bye.
next week. Bye.